Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to implement Terraform workspaces using the local backend. So we are in Stack Simplify HashiCorp certified Terraform associate GitHub repository, and we are entering into the section 08 Terraform workspaces. Okay, so as part of this, we are going to implement with the local backend and also the remote backend. And also as part of introductory part, we also learned about what are workspaces and then how they can be used. So now we are going to go ahead and then practically implement the workspaces from step 2 onwards. Okay, so the first things first is we are going to update the Terraform manifest to support multiple workspaces. Okay, so if you see here, we are following a same template from beginning, which is C1 versions.tf, variables, security groups, EC2 instance, outputs, and then AMI data sources, which is coming from the previous sections. Okay, so this respective templates, how we are going to change so that it supports the multiple workspaces concept is the story which we are going to first review. Okay, so the first things first is we are going to use the subfolder v1 local backend. Okay, so this is the one, and ideally AWS don't allow us to create a security group with the same name twice in the AWS cloud. Okay, so with that said, first we need to touch the security groups. Why? Because the same resources you are going to create in each of the workspaces. Okay, in default workspace, in dev workspace, in QA workspace, everywhere you are going to create the same resources. Okay, consider like dev environment is created in dev workspace and default environment is for production environment, and QA workspace you will create the same resources. So when you are creating like that, then all these are you are going to create in the AWS cloud only, in specific VPC only, where we are going to create them. So if that is the case, then the naming convention matters a lot. Okay, if this security group is for default workspace, which is production, so then you need to provide the name of the security group is default. Okay, and if it is dev workspace, then you need to provide dev workspace. So like that, so dev workspace name here. So for that purpose, there will be a variable or expression, you can say like terraform.workspace. Okay, so this terraform.workspace provides that information for us. Okay, in current workspace what it is working, so that workspace name will be replaced here. Okay, so with that said, so what we are going to do here is, so let's go here, and so what is the Terraform workspace? It will get the workspace name. Okay, terraform.workspace will get the workspace name. So popular usage of this is using the workspace name as part of naming or tagging behavior. So for us, for security groups, we are giving the VPC SSH hyphen workspace name. Okay, VPC web hyphen workspace name. So that one we are going to append now for security groups. In the same way, referencing the current workspace is useful for changing behavior based on workspaces. For example, for non-default workspaces, it may be useful to spin up smaller cluster sizes. Okay, so the same variable can also be used for some other purpose, which we will see in the next step. Okay, so for now, let's come back here, and we completed this one. Okay, so now let's see this one, whatever matches to the popular usage 2. Okay, so if we go to our EC2 instance, so AMI you are getting from the C6 AMI data source, data.aws.ami.amzlinux.id. that is good. Instance type you are getting from your variables. Okay, so whatever you have defined here. Okay, that's good. So now the next thing here is key name, which you have hard coded and then created already in your key pairs here. Okay, so whatever you have created here, the key pairs terraform.key already exists for you. That is good. So now here starts the count. So you are saying terraform.workspace equal to default, right? Create 2 instances. For any other workspace, create 1 instance. Okay, so that is what this popular usage 2 means. Okay, referencing the current workspace is useful for changing behavior based on the workspace. For example, for non-default workspaces, non-default means default workspaces, the standard practice of using the default workspace is for the production environments. Okay, and non-default workspaces, it may be useful to spin up small cluster sizes. Okay, so example, like if it is the default workspace which is a production, spin up 2 instances. Okay, if any other than default workspace, spin up one instance. Okay, so like that for count you can write it like that. So you said that terraform.workspace is equal to default, then spin 2 clusters, if not 2 EC2 instances, else spin 1 EC2 instance, and rest of the things are same. User data file loads from Apache install.sh and security group information is loaded here, and in the tag also you have given something called vm hyphen workspace name hyphen and also count.index for number of instances it is getting created, 0 and then 1, something like that. Okay, so that's about the EC2 instance change. Okay, this one we have reviewed and this one we have reviewed. And finally, if you remember in the output sections, we have discussed multiple times, there is an advanced way of configuring the outputs when we use the meta arguments count and then for each. Okay, so for that purpose of indexing, we need to use the outputs this way. Okay, so let's go to outputs here, and if you see, if it is only one instance, we used to not have anything like this. Okay, so for that respective instances, public DNS we used to provide in the outputs. But now if you see in the count, you have seen number of instances, correct, right? Either 2 or 1 or anything. So count will be like indexing, right? So 0 1 2 3 4. So in that case you need to provide like this. Okay, so you need to provide a star here, so that how many instances created, for all those instances the list of public DNSs and then list of public IPs will be shown. So this is the advanced way of using the outputs when you are using the count or for each in your respective resource. Okay, so you are using count, so which means your EC2 instances with single resource you will be able to create multiple EC2 instances, again, which means 0 instance of 0, instance of 1, instance of 2 you will get it. So which means its equivalent outputs means like instance of 0's public DNS you need to display, instance of 1's public DNS you need to display. So all you need to display in the list format. If that is the case, you need to use the star here. Okay, so that's about the outputs which I want to discuss. Okay, so you can create a list of all values of a given attribute for the items in the collection with a star. For instance, AWS instance myEC2 star will be a list of all the public IP of the instances, it will be displayed. Okay, so that's about the 4 changes I want to review from the templates whatever we have changed. Okay, so in our next lecture we'll go ahead and then start creating the workspaces or start creating resources in the default workspaces, and then understand more with the local backend, which is nothing but terraform.tf state files going to create in my local working directory itself. Okay, so I'll see you in the next lecture. Until then, bye bye. Thank you.